Greetings, my name is Dan and welcome to my allotment here in Essex in the southeast of the UK. So winter is coming and today I'm going to give you 5 jobs that you can do at your allotment or at your garden over the winter months, and by doing these they will hopefully help you be a more successful and better gardener and hopefully to have a much better allotment and or gardening experience. So here's a little one for you. Now this is a great thing to do. It can help to buy you some time by covering up parts of your allotment so that weeds don't grow, and then you can start to utilise them when the time suits you, and it can lower the amount of labour you have to put into your allotment by not having to do as much weeding. So it's very useful. So you can see here I have some tarpaulin here, and there I have some membrane. So this area has now been covered for a while, probably about 2 or 3 months, but you can do it now or into the winter, and then in the spring when the time comes I will then proceed to plant this out. I could in fact remove this now and plant out some plugs that I've already got growing, some plug plants, and put them in, but basically the point is get it covered up, bits you're not going to be using, and it can help to free you up with time to utilise for other aspects of your allotmenteering or your gardening. You can see here I've topped up this no-dig bed with some grass cuttings, some grass clippings, which I get from my work as a gardener. So the majority of these have been in my compost bin. I've been collecting them over the season, and here they are. So I'm confident these will break down by around May time, when the plan is to set this area with things like squash, courgettes, pumpkins, etc., maybe cucumbers, cucurbits. So if these haven't broken down by then, I don't mind sort of nestling into the growing medium underneath a little bit. So I'm going to be covering this up probably with a pond liner or a membrane, and then this should work in over the winter period and enrich the growing medium ready for great productivity next year. Here I have some horse manure mixed with wood chips, and I could put this under a membrane or a pond liner and allow that to work in over the winter months, and that really will help to improve the growing medium. The next job you can do is work on your infrastructure. So that could involve putting up a shed, repairing an existing shed, even putting in a relaxation area such as some tables and some chairs. Maybe you could build some raised beds, build compost bins, and you could also put guttering on sheds, things like this, and water butts underneath, or IBC containers, so you can collect your own water. Last winter I repaired the roof of this shed to hopefully stop more water getting into the shed, and of course painting sheds and fences and things like that can also be added to the list. Planting trees. So a great time of year is coming up to plant trees. So you can quite often purchase trees bare rooted during the winter months. So it is what it says, they're not in a pot, they will arrive bare rooted, or you'll buy them bare rooted. And it's said that if you buy them this way, as well as maybe being cheaper, they are ready to grow on when they can, and they are not going to be pot bound. So it's a very good way of buying trees. So I'm going to be having apple, plum, cherry, pear here, probably on half standard rootstocks. I want good sized trees. You're allowed trees up to 10 feet high here, which is about 3 meters. So you should be able to get some nice productive trees here. So with regards to food forests, orchards, permaculture projects, you can include things like grapevines in that, things like gooseberries, red currants, black currants, tayberries, loganberries, blueberry bushes, you name it, there's quite a lot there. So it's a great time of year to plant permaculture items and do your research, think what you want and get them planted. With regard to permaculture items, so things such as trees, raspberry canes, etc., during the dormant season is a good time to move them because they're less likely to be shocked by the transplantation. So if you've got, say, a pear tree in the wrong place, the tree is not too big and you're confident you can get a nice root ball around it, when it's dormant is a great time to move it, and you can put it in its new location and hopefully you'll be much happier with that. Picking. So in many ways this is the most satisfying job, because at the end of the day we want to be getting good yields from our garden or our allotment, don't we? So here you could see I have some spinach, and here I have some absolutely gorgeous golden chard. So I initially planted these in cell trays in my polytunnel early mid-July time and transplanted them out here in August. I'll link the video down below so you can see what they look like when I planted them out. So they've had some good long days, good warm temperatures and plenty of rain this year to get some good growth going. So around November time, maybe a bit before, a bit later, depending on regional variation, weather, etc., where you are, the growth can indeed totally stop, or at least come to a very slow, or go to a slow pace. Good pickings from this area throughout the winter months. I've got beetroot, I've got spinach, lettuce, chard here, and these are all hardy, all frost resistant to the UK weather, and that's very important because frosts will be coming soon, or indeed maybe you've even had some. So keep picking, and if there isn't too much left by the end of the winter when the spring comes, or indeed even if there is, the plant should then proceed to come into growth again, and then you should hopefully get a second crop, a second flush for more lovely greens to pick. Pruning of certain fruit trees, fruit bushes, etc., etc. So you need to be very careful in these regards. For example, this golden gauge tree, you do not want to be pruning until after the fruit has set. Whereas, for example, something like an apple tree, I like to prune around January time. So with regards to pruning plum trees at the wrong time of year, you can introduce silver leaf disease. So you would not prune a tree like this during the dormant season, but you would with an apple tree. Something like a grapevine, you would prune around early winter, so late November, early December, less likely to bleed that way. So do your research on the individual thing you are going to prune, because you don't want to cause damage, or at the worst potentially kill it or introduce a disease. So with regards to plum trees, I have heard of some people say that they prune their trees in the late summer, early autumn, and I've never done this. I don't think I ever would unless someone specifically requested me to do this. The time I would rather prune a plum tree would be after the fruit has set in the spring. So there we are, there's 5 jobs for you which should hopefully help you out with your winter allotment and or garden work. So there we are. Now you can see I've got plenty here to come, which is lovely. I've got some Brussels sprouts there, variety Evesham Special or Eversham Special, and I'm really looking forward to harvesting those. So, you know, this golden chard, I really love it. The stems are so beautiful. Even if one didn't eat these, they make a good ornamental plant. See, look at them, look, they really are beautiful leaves. So I picked some spinach as well, and I've also picked some albino beetroot, which is really nice, and a piece of standard beetroot, if you will. So they look absolutely beautiful. I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much for viewing, and if you like this video, please feel free to like it, and you can share it with anyone you think may be interested, and please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to be notified of any further videos I put up. See you next time.